Hello everybody, I'm the Blind Scout and welcome to the channel. And at this in particular point, I wanted to talk about a hydrogen rebalance because in my mind, hydrogen should be the main fuel source you use in Space Engineers. And, you know, some people may say, well, it's the only fuel source you use in Space Engineers, other than maybe uranium. But really, ultimately, like, you end up using, like, you end up with all these different fuel sources like solar and wind, which are very useful altogether as well. But like when you're zipping around in space and stuff, you could use hydrogen, but you're gonna end up going through hydrogen a lot faster than you'd think. And it's a little bit weird that you go through so much hydrogen. Because and I fell off the base. But you end up going through hydrogen's really not a very efficient way of zipping around. It's great for, like, what I find mostly I end up using it for is more of as a booster to get up to speed, like almost like a what is it, like an afterburner or something to just like push my ship up to speed fast. Which is a bit of a shame because I do feel like the primary fuel source really should be hydrogen. And you should be able to move around with hydrogen better and more effectively. And but that's really not how it works. And it is a bit of a shame, really. Really, ultimately, what I think should happen, and I know this is going to sound extreme, but I think that the fuel consumption of hydrogen for both thrusters and hydrogen engines as well should be like reduced by like 75%. And that sounds extreme, but also I should point out that I really think that this should be something that should be like hydrogen consumption should be something that you should be able to select in the world menu when you're setting up your world. Like, do you want like normal hydrogen fuel consumption, or, you know, medium? I guess medium could be like our current, and then like low could be like 75% reduction, which seems really extreme, but I really honestly do think that hydrogen should be like the main fuel source in the game. And it's almost at the point where it is right now, it's so inefficient to use hydrogen that it's really, if you want to actually really make an effective ship, you really just kind of like avoid it. It's really kind of that introduction to shipbuilding is hydrogen, so you can get off of planet and everything else and, you know, zip around initially. But then as soon as you get to ion engines, you stop using hydrogen, which is backwards to me. Like, hydrogen should be the key way of moving ships around, and maybe even the main energy source, which also goes along with another video I did where I talked about hydrogen farms, the need for hydrogen farms. But that, you know, this is just my personal thoughts on hydrogen. And you know, the more I think about it, the more I don't understand why hydrogen is not the central fuel source, the central system for moving ships around in the game. It really should be the main one. Ions should be just for ion and atmospheric should be for efficiency, because you can generate electricity from like solar and wind and nuclear energy. Because nuclear is obviously always should be a really big fuel source. But, you know, uranium's slightly hard to get a hold of. So I think that that's fairly well balanced. It's just hydrogen is so, I feel like I'm rambling, but hydrogen is so inefficient that it just gets abandoned as soon as you get past the intro level of building ships and getting into the survival game. And it frustrates me because it really It has the stats, like hydrogen thrusters have the stats to be the main thruster type, but they're so fuel inefficient that you just don't use them. Rarely. In very limited situations. So anyway, that's just my thoughts on hydrogen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment and everything else. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.